Well, hi everyone. Let's do a Thursday MLB algorithm preview for July 14th, 2022. First, let's quickly talk about Wednesday. Pretty darn good day. Nice to see the games with really high MXP factors in the Dodgers and Yankees both come back being behind, but their strengths were just too strong. That's what a team with a strong power strength is supposed to do is they are supposed to come back when they drop down. And both these teams managed to win 7-6 games. And I also, there's a lot to like about what the algorithm did today. I also like to see that as soon as the MXP factors dropped dramatically and went to 20 and 15 from 85 and 83, you end up having some teams that can't come back, or at least San Diego took a lead and then blew it. And Houston never had a chance against Otani and they lost 7-1. So even though there were a ton of wins here, you've got a string of 7 wins in a row with Tampa Bay, Miami. Miami comes back after being down late also. Minnesota, Seattle, and wins both games of doubleheader. Texas, Baltimore was very solid, winning I think their 10th in a row at the underdog line. Toronto has a new coach. We got people posting in the video, updating things. We got our own current events going on in Toronto. Made no mistake with their new manager, I guess, today, or acting manager. And then we start to have some losses down here. Here's where it gets barber pole, as I say, red, green, red, green. That means random noise. These were really low MXP factors. So, you can't ask for your algorithm to do too much more other than try to win this San Diego or Houston game, and San Diego blew it, right? So really good day. Hits the underdog and these two teams win, but they don't cover. So that could have been trouble. But they do win. And if you live bet those types of games where they go down and they're really high on this list and they drop down by a few runs, betting them plus runs or betting that amazing line for, Dodgers were down 6-0, I think. You probably could have got them a plus 500 or something. I'm sure that was available at that point in the game because it was getting into like the 5th or 6th inning. So that is the day of the 13th. Pretty good. Hope you won. We actually won on our wager today. 74% profit. We hit 4 of 6. We should have had the Dodgers in the over here, but the algorithm said this was a really low scoring game. So that same game parlays that I was doing here, and the Cleveland White Sox game did not have any runs. So there were a few misses on the runs today, that's for sure. But winners were pretty darn good. So let's take a look at the next day, which is Thursday. Goes down to row 28. There's only 13 games on Thursday. And this is what we have right now. So Toronto, new manager, and I believe they have Gaussman going. They're going to be a very strong favorite here. Oh, look at this crazy MXP factor of 124. Wow. So what you see today compared to yesterday is we only had 2 teams above a 20 MXP factor. Here we've got 3, 6, 8 right now before lineups get confirmed and stats get in for tomorrow. Thursday. We're just doing an overnight look right now where it's all expected. It is amazing. Now, do we have all of our pitchers set up right? Like, are our lineup factors working? They are. Anibal Sanchez is pitching for Washington. He doesn't have stats. Last year, he does have 2020 stats, and they were not good. So I'm not surprised to see Atlanta being a really, really, really strong pick here. They should be even worse than 215. There might be some runs coming out of Atlanta there. When we look at the pivot here, we see projected runs: Toronto, Cleveland, Atlanta with 7. Big runs in these games. So that's what to look for. You see out all those MXP factors above 20. There are a lot of them. It says Miami maybe not so much, only at an MXP factor of 11. So let's get back to the Google sheet for a second, and just if you're going off of what this is telling you logically, it's saying, yes, look at all these games, all these 8 games that these teams are supposed to win with relatively strong powers. Lines are bad. You might have to do runs with some of them because of that, but it says you can do runs for the top 4, really. Yankees supposed to even get 6. So you're probably going to want to focus up here in this range of top 8 games, and then you see it drops off. All the underdogs are down here, just Colorado. Actually, it's only one underdog. Let's check the Excel file on that. Yep, we don't have a Seattle line yet, but it looks like just one underdog way down here. So I would argue that this would be not really like, it's not like the Baltimore game of yesterday, of Wednesday, because they were at plus 120 and their margin was higher. If you look at where they were on the list yesterday, you see that Baltimore was at least up here at some snapshot point in the day. And so how profitable was this day? I want to look at that for a second. 600. Wow. So if you, yeah, it moves things around a little bit. It looks a little different from the Google sheet because we have San Diego and Houston higher up on the Google sheet. So stuff does switch a little bit. It puts San Francisco instead of Arizona. The funny thing about that San Francisco Arizona game, so it gave this 2% margin to Arizona, or sorry, a less than 1% margin to Arizona. Right here, it was like 0, 0 or 1%. It was saying barely take Arizona, but the projected score was exactly right. 4-3 for San Francisco. So you can see what kind of toss-up game that really was. And when you start looking at the list, let's go back to the Excel file. We start looking at the list, anything down here below 5% margin for sure. This stuff gets flip around completely. So wouldn't pay any attention to what really happens down here. These are toss-up games. And even below 10%, or especially below MXP factors, like we're talking about, even these games are a little wishy-washy. So it was these two were big, obviously, and I did bet Miami and Seattle as well, and they won in Baltimore. So there was a lot of ways to win. All right. So yeah, really profitable day. Excellent day. Now, how did just our home teams do? 8-2 with the two. Wow, look at the strength of home teams in order. Unbelievable. Okay, let's get back to Thursday and see if there's any intelligence I can leave you guys with when you're looking at this here. I mean, you got a lot of favored lines is the problem. So wouldn't touch anything down here unless Seattle's at an amazing line of like plus 150 or something, but they're not going to be. They're playing pretty good ball. Yeah, you can. The algorithm says stop here and don't take Miami because they're only at an 11. Everything else, and especially the ones above 40, right? Because there's ones in the 20s here, which is this Minnesota and White Sox and Mets and Cubs. So even although this Mets and Cubs one's a 28 and only minus 140, but there certainly is more strength here. So you're probably going to want to focus on Toronto, Cleveland, Yankees, Atlanta, Dodgers, Houston, and look for runs with these 4 teams, especially. That is what it says. Just like that, right? They're all right there. Houston's at minus 155. Where's Houston on here? Right there. Yeah, right at the cutoff. And the best line, because we don't have a Toronto line, but it's not going to be good. The best line is the Dodgers at minus 149. Wow, look at this, is really amazing, right? Like what's funny is you're going to wake up tomorrow or you take a look at the odds on Thursday. And if Gausman is pitching, you're going to see Toronto at minus 295 sitting up here for 250 at least. That's crazy. I mean, look at this, is almost just top down, right? Amazing. It's just the Dodgers are slightly out of order because they're away. And they should be like right here, I guess. And then underdog. And so what do you think the Seattle line is going to be, right? Like they're away, so they'll probably be like 110, 105. Maybe both of these teams will be minus 105 or 110. Amazing. So, all right, guys, that's when the algorithm does a good job. You know, it looks pretty easy, and today was certainly pretty easy with a lot of the winners. And hopefully Thursday will be good as well. Good luck, everybody. Your picks be winning.